Yesterday, I gave a message on Trump 2.0, and the message was about the light over darkness. I will briefly go through it to talk a little bit about it. And I mentioned something about the deep state, and I explained to the people who came last night about what is a deep state. A deep state is obviously people behind the government that try to manipulate or control an existing government. And I also talk about the swamp meaning that the people who are in the government and they actually act on behalf of the deep state, and they will try to derail whatever the government is doing, especially what Donald Trump is doing in the US. And I talk about how Donald Trump is the light over darkness that gives us a period of time for us to regather ourselves and do the last work before the Lord returns. Now, the title is Deep State, Deeper Than Deep, the Fall of the Constitution and the Rise of a Shadow Government. There are a lot of things that is happening over the last 15 years that many of us do not take notice because we do not really respond to things in the correct way. We are all too much influenced by the main media like CNN, Al Jazeera, BBC, Sky News. We all go to the main news and we don't really know what is going on. And tonight, I'm going to take you deeper to what is going on. Trump truly has to fight with the deep state. And not just fight, I don't know how he got this energy to do so many things with just 24 hours. He literally got his hands into everything, into the finance of the country, security of the country, into the law of the country, into so many areas. And I really amazed at this man. So what is this that I'm trying to talk to you about? Now, the deep state is just not what you see somebody behind the government. It is a few layers of people. And tonight, I will briefly go through some of the layers. And I will do this meeting again because basically, I believe this is a very important meeting. And you can expect more things when I do it in the next time. America has become a very dark place because of what is happening. And the man behind what is happening is obviously Obama. He was the one who brought in the LGBTQ movement. He was the one who destabilized America. He was the one who brought a lot of conflict between the black people and the white people. Today we have the DEI, with the homosexuality movement. And behind Obama is George Soros, who financed a lot of the thing, the protest against Elon Musk burning up his cars, his showroom, is all by the money that George Soros gave through his non-profit organization called Blue. And he actually financed even the protests right now in America. In Europe, you will see that they are also the same. The major player, obviously, is Germany and France. These two countries are the main players there. And all these people who are behind the scene will adhere to what the World Economic Forums want. And World Economic Forum is the one that will get all these things out. And obviously, at the end of it is the Illuminati, the true secret society that is bent on controlling the world. This is where we are at right now. America is important because if America goes down, everything will move very, very fast. If you look at the map of the world, the one in green are the Western countries. The one in gray are the rest of the world. And you can see two letters, R and L. R doesn't stand for Reggie, it stands for right. L stands for left. So I'm going to ask you a question. Is there more R or more L? Can someone answer?
More L.
That means the whole world is left. And the left will bring all the things, the agenda from the left. Socialism, LGBTQ, global warming agenda, illegal migrant, or illegal migrants will come into all this country. If you look at North America, you see there are a lot of migrants coming in. If you look at Canada, the same. You look at Europe, the same. You look at UK, the same. You look at Australia, the same. And New Zealand, also the same. Don't you think it is unusual? Why do people not try to migrate to all the gray areas in the world? Can I have an answer from you? Why not they migrate to Saudi Arabia? Why not they migrate to Qatar? Also rich countries. Why not the African continent? Why not China?
The freedom.
Well, that is our view of it, you know. The reason is because, you see, that means the agenda in the West is all the same. You agree? What is happening in the West is all the same except for America, which was just last year, it was still under L. Now it turned to R. So
Yes.
this is what is happening in the world. The world have turned L. L means bringing all those things that God hates. And the only nation that is turning back, you know, is R. That's why they want to kill Donald Trump. Can you see and understand this? What the globalists try to do is these 7 things. They want to bring a collapse of the world financial system. Either there's a collapse or there will be a coup to take over everything. The way to do it, the collapse of the financial system is the best, because if the financial system collapses, it is the deep state that will gain, because they are the people behind everything. Number 2, they want to bring chaos to the world. There's an agenda to bring chaos to the world. The best way to bring chaos to the world is migration, because migration to countries, it will bring conflict. Even don't look just look at Singapore. I know there are many Singaporeans here tonight. Would you agree with me that many Singaporeans are beginning to be very troubled by a lot of the migrants that come into Singapore? Though these people may be very good for Singapore, they come and work there, you know, they are at least civilized. Agreed, Singaporeans?
Yes, yes.
There's a contention between the new migrants and the old Singaporeans. They're finding that the old Singaporeans are losing out. They are finding that their country now becoming more foreign than local. So this is a good form of migration, but the migration in America and migration in Canada, in Europe is no good, because the Western culture is very liberal, and you bring in a very conservative culture from the Middle East. Would you agree that it causes a lot of schism between the races of people? The values are all different. Second thing. The third thing is there is a false climate change agenda where many people buy into it, especially when we follow the main news. The news tell us that there's global warming, and if you don't take care of the environment, slowly the whole world will be sea. That means everybody will die. That is the fear they give to everybody. And there we also have war mongering. We have so many wars in the world right now. And right now we are having Ukraine against Russia. And just yesterday only, Israel flew their planes over to Qatar and killed the Hamas leadership. So there is war, and there is rumors of war. And the intention of the globalists also to destroy the family unit. To destroy the family unit, they use LGBTQ, because when this happens, the family become dysfunctional. And they want to reduce the population of the world to 500 million. Now, in order to do that, they need to have an agenda. So we call it the globalist agenda. And with that, with the limited population, they will also introduce the mark of the beast when the financial system collapses. They will introduce the mark of the beast, and everybody have to toe in the line, and everybody will be under total control. This is how they do it. If you look at these 3 pictures here, first one is America. America is already 31 trillion in debt. UK is 9 trillion in debt. And EU, you can see all the nations there has a debt problem. And this is all mostly in the Western nation. It's not happening in Korea. It is not happening in Singapore. It is not happening in Japan. Mostly in the Western nation, there is a problem with debt. And if eventually, when there is turbulence in the financial market, everybody will go into debt. So the most debt incurred are the Western nations. Okay, so we watch this and look at this. These slides show you something very important, that is illegal migrants. On the left-hand side is the border in America. Southern side, you can see all the people trying to get into America. And on the right-hand side, these are the boats that try to get to Europe and to UK. So all this, very interestingly, is happening in the Western nations. And Australia, New Zealand are actually taking in a lot of Lebanese, taking in a lot of Palestinians, taking in a lot of people from North Africa. Why don't they take from other places more? Why do they need to take from these places where the culture is so against the West? And I believe this is to bring chaos. Can you see when these people get into US, where are they going to stay? Right? The question, who is going to provide the food for them? All these are questions. Can you see this happening in Singapore?
No. No.
In Malaysia? No. It doesn't happen in Thailand. It doesn't happen in Cambodia, but it happened to the Western nations. So I'm trying to try to connect the dots for you that there is somebody behind it. So when people come over your country, you've got to feed them because they don't bring money with them. They came over to the country to start a fresh new life, and they got to take money from you. New York Post say it's a heavy cross to bear. America could pay up to $451 billion for illegal migrants that come in. So it's going to cost the citizens of the country a lot of money because basically you need to take care of them. And there's a lot of crime as well because these people come from third world countries where crime is very high. And we have places like America and Europe have imported in a lot of criminals. Now, Donald Trump is trying to remove them by using the immigration services to take them out. ICE. ICE is the immigration department sent to all the different states to take these people out. I want to show you a video of what is happening in some of the cities. You'll be shocked. Watch this.
New York has been losing millions of dollars as a result of retail theft. And New York City saw the largest surge in shoplifting since 2019 than any other U.S. city, according to a study.
Malls, supermarkets, discount stores, all shutting down because shoplifting here is now so bad it is a $4.4 billion part of the state's economy, and it's only getting worse.
Tonight, a massive retail theft ring bust in New York, leading to 41 people arrested.
Across the country, shoplifting and organized retail theft cost retailers an estimated $69 billion a year.
Box after box are removed from the home. Those Ulta Beauty products ending up on an Amazon digital storefront called the Online Makeup Store at deep discounts.
More than 80% of retail workers say that they are worried about an active shooter coming into their workplace.
We're back to the early 90s. They feel like the law protects them, like there are no consequences.
At a time when retail workers are routinely dealing with armed or violent criminals, their state assembly member is blocking an effort to create stiffer penalties for violent criminals that target retail workers.
The sheer volume of stolen goods fills a truck.
This is just one of several U-Hauls that is full of merchandise suspected to be stolen.
So shoplifting is now one of the most profitable businesses in New York. But what nobody's talking about is that even though everybody knows shoplifting is a massive problem here, it's only going to get worse because state lawmakers just had the chance to increase penalties for retail-related crime, and they said, you know what, that's not a good idea. We're not going to do that. Meanwhile, every single store, from your dollar store to your drugstore, is a criminal's paradise. And we've seen brands like Target close locations, and one of the newest malls in New York City, which cost over $1 billion to build, is now completely closed. All the stores shut down inside over crime. All because the city's leaders think punishing criminals will somehow make the problem worse. But critics say not punishing shoplifters is why we now have professional shoplifters. This is what they do 40, 50, 60 hours a week, proving that crime pays in New York unlike anywhere else in the country. And critics also say shoplifting is a tax on the poor because every single time something gets stolen, it's another reason for retailers to raise prices, which hurts the law-abiding who don't steal things for a living. But to understand the real reasons why shoplifting here is such a problem, you've got to understand New York's laws don't just encourage shoplifting. No, they actually go so far as to protect criminals, allowing them to operate in ways that are so blatant and so visible, most retailers don't stand a chance. So here we are inside Ulta Beauty, and stores like this are a massive target for shoplifters, not just here in New York, but all across the country.
A National Retail Federation survey of companies identified Los Angeles, San Francisco, Oakland, New York, and Seattle as the top major cities hit by retail crime. Organized rings, as opposed to lightning flash smash and grabs, use what are called boosters to steal items that then go to fencers who resell them for cash.
I think people feel like it's hopeless.
So we know that New York has a $4.4 billion shoplifting economy, and in every economy you've got different people doing different things to allow it to get that big. And the people stealing from stores like this, they're just part of the equation, because stealing's only half the battle. After they get these products out of the store, they got to bring them somewhere, and they've got to get help to get them into the hands of customers. And behind each person who steals something off a shelf, there is an entire network of warehouses and distributors that help them get these things into the hands of people who think they're legitimately buying them. At the bottom of this pyramid, you've got the thugs on the street that are stealing, and at the top you've got the millionaires who are making bank. For example, that overpriced product you found online, extra cheap, yeah, that was probably stolen from here. And in a city like New York, where stealing under $1,000 worth of stuff is just a misdemeanor, this is a recipe for disaster. Not just here in New York, but in every city with lax laws that don't punish criminals.
Prosecutors say the alleged ringleader, Ronnie Rubinoff, directed teams to go after specific items to steal. And alleged Rubinoff even signed a lease on a warehouse in New York with plans to open a department store-like facility stocked with stolen goods.
Now, organized retail theft, that's just one type of the shoplifting that goes on in New York City. And because of the internet, operations like this can thrive in ways they used to not be able to. And when the online store runs low on inventory, they put out the call to their thugs to go get more stuff. And criminals essentially have shopping lists of the items they're supposed to bring back. And what's crazy is every time a customer buys a stolen product from Ulta on Amazon, Amazon directly benefits, but the store here has to take the hit, which brings up the scary possibility that a company like Amazon doesn't really care about physical retail theft. It's not their problem. And we often hear from lawmakers that, oh, people are just trying to feed themselves and their families. But how in the world is that the case when you've got shopping lists, warehouses, and online marketplaces? And it's almost like many of the lawmakers that defend criminals want you to think that if you obey the law in this country, you're going to starve.
A massive retail theft ring bust in New York, leading to 41 people arrested. Authorities say it went much further than just petty shoplifting.
Our investigators...
Wow, that's crazy. So a year ago, $3.8 million worth of stolen stuff right here in New York. And since then, mega theft operations have been popping up all over the country. And we're not talking about Aladdin stealing bread to survive. We're talking about full-blown businesses with inventory lists, warehouse distribution, and packing facilities, all made possible by soft-on-crime policies that don't punish anyone for doing anything wrong. And think about it, if you can steal whatever you want in New York under $1,000, that's like having a get-out-of-jail-free card, and criminals know it. And because of inflation and the internet, you've got hard-hit consumers just out there looking for a good deal. These are well-meaning people buying this stuff. And half of America probably has no idea that when they make an online purchase, they're supporting organized crime. And the question no one wants to answer is, could armies of criminals thrive in New York if they were all in jail? Probably not, but it isn't just stores with high-value physical products that are in trouble. No, in fact, even places that sell perishable items like food are in danger of shutting down. So here we are at the local supermarket, but because food is perishable in nature, operations that want to lift from these places are a little bit different than an online theft ring.
You gotta sell it within 3 blocks of the store, otherwise it melts. The other thing with the laundromat, they go to the local laundromat.
New York has been.
So as you can see in this video, it is so worse than a third world country. You don't see this in Thailand, you don't see this in Malaysia, you don't see this in Indonesia, you don't see in Asia like this. But this is happening in the richest country in the world. It doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
It doesn't make sense to us who are living in other countries. How could such a successful country have this type of problem? And then when Donald Trump sent in ICE, sent in the police, sent in the Marines to help in these cities, they come against Donald Trump. They come against ICE, they come against the police, they come against the army. And they begin to protest on the road, they protest in the cities. And can you believe it? It is funded by George Soros. Now, why do you think George Soros is funding this protest against Elon Musk when he was checking on all the different departments in the government? Why do you think George Soros is spending money to bring protesters into all these states? As you can see, all these states, you'll find that in all these states, these are the blue states, or it's run by the Democratic Party, which is left. So I want you to understand very clearly that there is an agenda behind all this. So you will see this in the video next. Now, Trump has tried his best to help. So he sent in the Marines into the army, into the Washington, D.C. As you can see, immediately he do that, the crime rate went down. And in fact, there was no killing for the last 12 days. Only yesterday, there's one killing. All the killing stopped because of the work that is done by Donald Trump to change the circumstances. These are law enforcement officers that went out to take in all these illegal immigrants to remove them out of the country. But Soros is funding protests to come against what these people are doing. Let me show you the video.
They're coming out. They're coming out. They're coming out. Watch out! Watch out! Fuck you!
Can you believe it? This is happening every night in the blue states, in Washington, D.C., in California, in Chicago. All the states that is run by the left is going bust. And because Biden prevents some of these people from pumping oil from the ground, prices of petrol go up, and then the cost of living went up in the US by 20 to 30%. And this caused a lot of problem in families. And not just that, you see the LGBT movement is so now prevalent everywhere, including the church. And according to 2 Timothy 3:1-5, it says, "But mark this, that there will be a terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of the good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power, have nothing to do with such people." This aptly describes where we are at right now in the world. And very sadly, this is what happened in one of the church I'm going to show to you because many of you have not come to my meeting yesterday. This is in one of the church. Can you believe?
Name is Britta Filter, and she is the Queen of New York. Yeah!
Loving Creator, Holy One, and Diva of the world, may your word shine upon us like glitter under the stage lights. May it pop like a death drop in a crowded, dingy basement. We confess that we have demanded too much from the earth. We confess to the sins of racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, fatphobia, American imperialism, and Christian supremacy. We confess that sometimes we forget that all life is connected.
We want to make sure that everyone knows that all are welcome here.
Pride isn't a place, it's a feeling of being proud. The pride flag represents being proud of who you are.
We fly to show pride and support of our LGBTQ friends.
Let's start with gay. Someone who's gay is attracted to people who are the same gender as them, like a man who's attracted to a man, or a lady who's attracted to a lady.
I am thrilled beyond thrilled to be presenting to you local drag legends.
So, as you can see, there is an agenda behind the deep state that is to corrupt the nation, that is destroy the nation from every angle. And very sadly, the church, the people supposed to know all, the people supposed to be leading, is part of it, the change. The church has assimilated into the world. Well, we can say that not everyone is like that, but certainly in America, this is big time. So this is what you call going downhill. And I believe Trump's presidency will change the dynamics of this very, very much because he is bringing in something that is good for this nation. Yeah. Let me continue further. As I've shared earlier, all this started with Obama. He was the one that brought in the LGBTQ movement. And from that day onwards, America has never been the same, and it's got worse and worse. In fact, when I redo this topic again, there'll be much, much more I'm going to talk about. Because time of preparing this, I cannot show you everything, but I will be showing it in the next one. But it will be a longer meeting with at least hours. And these people, they have an agenda. The agenda is to corrupt the world. And in America, if Donald Trump did not become president, non-profit organization called USAID, and this actually has funneled a lot of money to many parts of the world to bring the culture of homosexuality to the world. Not just they are in darkness, they bring in the darkness throughout the world. That's why yesterday's message was light and darkness. The devil has brought a lot of darkness into the world, and in God's grace and mercy has brought Donald Trump to bring some light back to the world. So if not, the world will be greatly corrupted. And under the Biden administration, they have brought not prayer to the White House, they have brought the LGBTQ movement into the White House, and they have promoted it in the White House, and many of the staff in the White House are homosexuals and lesbians. Biden administration spent billions on this movement to make sure that in Pentagon there is represented by homosexuality in the school, in government, in businesses, everywhere they try to influence the people. And you can read here, I join with people around the world, including many in Uganda, in calling for its immediate repeal. No one should have to live in constant fear for their life of being subjected to violence and discrimination. It is wrong. He is talking about the law of Uganda. Uganda make it a crime. Being gay is a crime. And he tried to make Uganda to ban the rule by forcing them to follow the principles of the West, of which they refuse to follow. And when they refuse to follow, Biden threatened them by not going to support them with any form of aid. All of us know about the Ukraine war. The Ukraine war was started by America, actually. Biden was the one, instead of having a peace talk with Putin, he actually gave weapons to Ukraine to fight the war. The logic is very simple. Ukraine is a small country. Russia is a big country. Russia can afford to lose 10 men, but Ukraine cannot afford to lose 1 man. Because by the end of the war, all the men will die in the battlefield. There won't be many of the men left. There'll be only women, because this war is not winnable. Can you imagine Russia losing the war? They will lose face. They will never want to lose the war. So the war will prolong. And Donald Trump tried to stop the war, of which he has not successfully done so. The war continues, and we hope some have some common sense and try to stop it. Yeah. And the problem often is also caused by America's policy during the time of Biden, which they removed the sanction on Iran. When they removed the sanction on Iran, a lot of US dollars is returned to Iran, and Iran financed Houthi, Hezbollah, and Hamas, which resulted in the October massacre of the Jewish people that causes the war between Hamas and Israel today. So all this is caused by poor decision. And this poor decision is made because of the deep state that wants America to fall or implode from within. Very fortunately, Trump took over. If not, we would now be in World War III, because at that point of time last year, they were trying to use an incident between Philippines and China to create an issue for war in the South China Sea. So because of this, because of the island of Taiwan, they use it as a pawn for a war. But under Donald Trump, he changed tactic. What he did was a tariff war. I think you and I know a tariff war is better than a world war or a war between US and China, which nobody wins, everybody loses. Now I'm showing you a very important slide. If you look on the left-hand side, it's actually a picture of something that I want to ask whether you know what is it. Have you seen this anywhere, or do you know what it is? What do you think this is? Anyone can answer?
The first, second, third, fourth seal.
Okay, I don't think you know. What you see on the left-hand side actually is a tarot card. You know, a tarot card is used for fortune telling. This is the 20th card. There are 22 cards in the tarot cards. This is the 20th card. And this card shows you an angel blowing a trumpet, and then the word judgment. See the word judgment? And then there's a symbol of Shin, that means God. That means God will bring judgment. Now you see the people are naked. This picture represents immoral people, all right, because God will judge the nation because of the immorality. This is nothing to do with the seven trumpets judgment of the book of Revelation, but this tells you something that God will judge the nation because of immorality. This is more pertaining to Christian nations, like America is a Christian nation. So when a Christian nation or a Jewish nation commit sin or commit sexual sin, God will judge the nation. I want you to see this, what Donald Trump did. He actually signed an executive order to stop all the homosexuality, all the evil that the people are doing under the last government. He signed an executive order to stop it in Pentagon, to stop it in the school, to stop it everywhere, including companies. And Trump promised that he will impose a national abortion ban in America, and he has done so. And he has stopped the people, the foreigners, from crossing into Americans' border. He successfully done that. And he stopped the US aid that abuse the money by sending money to other countries to develop the LGBTQ movement. And more than that, he has also stopped drug pushers and drug lords from sending drugs into America. Just 3 days ago, he bombed a boat filled with all the drugs that is being on its way to America. And I'm showing you another sign here. You see tractors and then you see cow. Do you know what it means here?
The country confiscating farmland.
Not exactly. This is in Belgium. They want to give a quota for the farmers to keep limited cows in their land. So they're trying to stop them from keeping sheep and cows. And do you know what is the reason why they want to stop them from keeping cows and sheep in Belgium and also in Australia, New Zealand, America? Under the global warming objective, they want to stop them from breeding cows.
Reduce food.
It will shock you, know.
Reduce carbon.
Because they think cows fat. Because they think cows fat can change the climate. Can you believe it or not? Can you believe cows fat can cause the climate to change?
Nonsense.
Don't believe.
No such thing.
And that is the idea they try to sell to the European farmers. And the European farmers in Belgium revolted against the government. And now Belgium is turning right. They are from left, now they are turning right. They are waking up. Some nations are waking up. In the whole of Europe, only Italy is right. The rest all is left. And this climate change is causing a lot of problem because you limit the number of vegetable that can be grown, the number of cows, you know, the number of sheep. Do you agree that there will be a shortage of meat in the world? There will be a shortage of wheat. There will be not enough flour. And that is what we call artificial famine. Many nations will go under famine and people will become poor. And this is what they try to create. And the next thing that they want to do is also to make sure that all the banks in the world will go digital. Singapore will be going digital very soon. Now, once that happens, they will slowly, not immediately, they will slowly remove your dollar, your 5 ringgit, 10 ringgit, 30 ringgit, 100 ringgit. They will all remove all the coins. So anything you buy or sell will go through electronic transaction. That's what they try to do. And I'm going to show you another slide. And eventually, you have a payment system like this pump. Yeah, you don't even need to carry your cards. You don't need to bring your phone. You don't need to bring your watch. You just use your palm, then you pay. Can you find that it's closer and closer to your skin, isn't it? But that's not the mark of the beast, okay? That is closer to the mark of the beast. So the next phase of things to come will move quickly into what we all fear. That is the mark of the beast. Can you see that?
Yes.
So this is the plan of the deep state. Behind the deep state, obviously, is the World Economic Forum. Behind the World Economic Forum is the big master, that is the Illuminati. Who they are, I obviously cannot tell you. If I can tell you, then I might be one of them. But remember this, there is always hope for those who trust in God, in Jesus. Philippians 4:19. Though things may look very bad, this is the time where we should rise up. This is the time where we should be the people that change the dynamics of the world. We should be the people leading, not following. So this is, I believe, an opportune time for us. And I like to share this to people because this can help people see the truth. So this is the message that I have out for you. And I will be doing another one, longer one, with more details to help people to understand much, much better where we are heading. Why America is important? Because America is the leader in the world. In order to win a battle, you got to kill the general. The general of the world is America. And to kill America, they try to implode America from within. But the spoiler is Donald Trump. Out of the blue, this businessman decided to run for president. And he began to do things that is out of the norm of politicians. So he do things that can really help people, practical, but it is not good for those people who are in the deep state. They are now, I can assure you that they will try to kill Donald Trump. So we all need to pray and intercede for Donald Trump because they hate his gut. They hate him, and this is what's going to happen if you don't pray for him. So we are living in precarious time, and I'm going to share this with you. We may have a window of peace for 8 years. I believe that the next 8 years will be under the Republican because they have done well these 4 years. I believe these 4 years they're going to do well. They're going to have another 4 years. But after that, I don't know what's going to happen. So it is an opportunity for us to right what is wrong, do what is essential and necessary. And I believe that will be the best thing that we can do. I'd like to make our faith relatable to the situation around us, that we have a better understanding of the condition of the world, that we may, what you call, people of the light, yeah? We can share to other people. So that's what I do, okay? So I hope that this will help us to see more clearly